Welcome back, my friends. My name is Armando from Fire Rescue Group and Bomberos on Fire podcast. I'm here with a legend in the Central Florida. Yeah, it's true. In Orange County. Um, he's one of the chief that has been, how many years, chief, you were in the county? 30?
26 years.
26 years in the county. And still, when I was in the county, his name was tossed around between the stations, and because when you get mandatory you go everywhere.
Right.
So yeah, you don't have a choice. So chief, you don't mind to introduce yourself, and I'm pleased to have you, and thank you so much for your time.
Sure. I'm H. Gregory Pines. Served Orange County for 26 years as the battalion chief in the 3rd Battalion, the 4th Battalion, and I was the battalion chief over training for 7 years while I was there. So I've been out since August 30th of 2010, and did a full scope of things, started my own business, Pines and Associates. That's my shirt I'm wearing now. For about 5 years, I was teaching tactics, customer service, and officer development for fire departments. And actually, I did a lot of work for Orange County up until 2015. After then, I got hit with PTSD, and it knocked me off kilter for a long time. And then I decided I needed to just dive into family. And so my girls were having more babies. And so now I'm a grandpa of 8.
Oh my God, 8.
Yeah. And 3 great grands. And so I had just spent a lot of time just being with my grandkids and helping my kids understand about parenthood. Helped them a lot. We're a very tight family, thank goodness. And then I started getting phone calls to come work for people. So I would work for some, and unfortunately, I found that people wanted what was up here, but they didn't want me. They just wanted this. And so after a while, after providing a lot of knowledge or setting them up, then they would let me know that they didn't want me to work for them anymore. So I realized that my days as an employee are truly over. So my last gig ended in April of 2023, and I haven't done anything and not planning on doing anything since then.
That's you deserve it. You got a long career. You deserve it. That break, because the family is important, and people who's in the service doesn't realize that until the end, basically. When you get retired, and that's bad. Hey, Chief, very quick, if you can move your camera a little bit to your you can move your perfect. That's awesome, because you got halfway. There you go. That's beautiful.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So sorry if I ask you this kind of personal, but talk to me about PTSD. How that, because you went from firefighter, probably lieutenant, chief, battalion chief, and then how that actually, what triggers you, or what happened?
Well, I had 11 specific calls that continued to haunt me, and I ended up getting help. One of my, I didn't mention that my 7 years in the training bureau, I trained 454 firefighters for Orange County. And many of them now they're actually running the department.
Probably.
Ranging all the way from deputy chief down to lieutenants. And so, long story short, I was experiencing the dreams, and it got so bad because I could not sleep. And one of my lieutenants, Lieutenant Scott Parsons, he just happened to be in the parking lot at Sears, and I was sitting in the parking lot in my truck, just slumped over my steering wheel. I finally I was so exhausted that I just went to sleep. And he came up and knocked on my window, and I broke down in front of him. And he informed me that the union was working with UCF, and then he took his ink pen and he wrote UCF's number in my hand. And so it took me about 3 days later, and I made the call at about 3 a.m. And the next morning they called me, and I started on the journey to getting better. I went through the exposure therapy, a very powerful tool that they used at UCF Restores. And what it did is it made me relive the incidents, but each time they kept making me repeat it, and they would add things, sounds, smells, and as I started to relive it, my memory got greater and greater and greater, and then I could remember every detail. And it seems like that would have been a terrible thing.
Yeah.
But getting the details allowed me to reach to the point of understanding why these particular dreams were staying with me. And then in all the cases except for one, it was because I had made a personal attachment to the call, where my worst call was a 3-year-old little girl who was dropped in a boiling pot of water. And I had to be the one to save her. Even though the deputies were on scene, I insisted, and they gave me the opportunity to save her. And I was running up behind the guy, and I was 6 steps away, and he dropped her in the water. And that was my worst call. But it wasn't my worst call because it was the most horrific thing that ever happened. It was my worst call because 6 months earlier, my wife and I had lost our daughter.
Oh.
And I remembered pacing up and down the hallways in the hospital, angry with all of my skills and my knowledge, and I couldn't save my daughter, and I thought I was going to lose my wife. And so I pushed my way into the room, and I was helping the nurses, and they got tired of trying to tell me to get out, so I stayed in there packing ice, reading monitors, doing everything. I just became part of the team. And we lost our little girl 3 days later. So the reason that I was so enthralled to save this little girl from this maniac was that I didn't save my own kid, so I had to save her. And that connection made that my worst call and the one that was the strongest.
Yeah.
And so once the doctor got me through that one, then we were able to deal with all the other calls. And in each case, it was, you would be surprised of the things that make you connected, because in one case, and I mean, I'm going all the way back to the 80s with these calls. We lost our daughter in 88, and this call that I'm talking about happened 6 months later. And then I guess it was 1990, we rolled up to a car fire. A lady, single car, crashed into a Jersey wall, and the car burst into flames. And it was one of those old big Pontiacs, and everything was electric.
That's a tank.
And yeah, it was a tank. But when the electricity went out, she hit the wall so hard that she sealed the doors. And then she couldn't put the windows down or anything, so they continued to climb to the back of the vehicle. It was a big station wagon, a Pontiac Catalina. I'll never forget it. And so when I pulled up, I could see them. I could see their silhouettes moving in the fire because the entire vehicle was engulfed in flames. So I ran out and I pulled, we grabbed the booster line. I know y'all don't know about a booster line, but back in the day, that's what, that quick water. So I grabbed the booster line and the booster line nozzle was made of metal. And so I'm hitting the window and it wouldn't break. My lieutenant came up with a spring-loaded center punch and he popped the window and then I opened up. Now, no matter what, there was an unsurvivable fire. But that particular call stuck with me because I was angry with myself that I could never allow that to happen again. So by them doing exposure therapy, I kept remembering, and I came to realize that the next day when I got off shift, I drove straight to Sears and I stood out there until they opened up the one on at Fashion Square. And I went in and I bought 2 spring-loaded center punches, one for the inside of my bunker coat and one for my pants pocket. And so as I came to realize some of the dreams stopped and others, I had to go to the location and just discuss it. And I took my wife with me and great support. I mean, without her, I couldn't have gotten better.
Yeah.
And she went with me and she convinced me to say a prayer at those sites of people that I lost. And I got home that night and did not have the dreams anymore. So each one of the cases I was able to get rid of, except for the 2 little boys in Eatonville. And come to find out that one had nothing to do with a personal connection other than the fact that I just wanted to kill the guy who killed those 2 little boys,
Yeah.
So it was a long road, brother. Over 5 years of dealing with PTSD.
Wow. And I'm glad that you came through the tunnel and now you're way better. For those who listen to us, hopefully people can take something from your stories and actually do something about it. Yeah. Because what we do as a fireman is we got those type of calls and we go to the next call. And then we work overtime or get mandatory. And then you forget about it. But years later, like you said, it happened in the 80s. It might hunt you down. Something will trigger and then you start acting weird. You're acting on yourself. And I seen it on people that suddenly change. Like, bro, you need to see somebody. I'm not an expert, bro. You need to see somebody.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was perplexed that why when I retired, and the doc told me something that was startling. He said that his firemen and his police officers were worse than his soldiers, and his soldiers, he said, would suffer because of a tour. He said, but we were in it for 25 years. He says, and we have that mentality, just like you said, we get to something bad, we toss it over the wall because we don't have time to grieve, don't have time to deal with it, and we might get another call, just like it. So he said, so I had reached a point where I was retired. I was with grandkids. I had fallen in love and had proposed to my wife, and life was good. And he said, so now my subconscious said, it's time to deal with all of this stuff that you had stored up. And that's why it came out. Yeah.
That's crazy. And what? That's insane. After 25 years, wow. Yeah. And I'm kind of scared sometimes by myself because I work in Venezuela as a firefighter medic in a technical rescue. Then I came to the US, go to Orange County, and now I'm at Reedy Creek. So I know in some point something will trigger. That's why one of the reasons why I create this podcast is to not just for people to listen and get examples and maybe get some conscious about this problem, is about myself too. This is to me like a tool for myself to try to treat whatever I have. And each episode I throw something out just to release whatever I had, because everyone is different and everyone experience stuff a different way. Chief, what made you make that phone call at that 3 o'clock in the morning? What triggered you to do that?
I did not want to accept what Lieutenant Parsons had said to me. Not me. I'm the man, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm Chief Pines. You know, there's no way that I'm going to admit that I've got PTSD. And so I, for the next 2 days, I was getting a maximum of 2 hours sleep, because I was have the dreams, and they would be in concession. And then some of the dreams weren't reliving the incident, but a dream derivative of the incident, like we had the SeaWorld call where the trainer got killed.
Yeah.
And in that one, I was in such shock from what was going on. My crew was in shock when I got there, and there was Tillicum throwing this woman's body up in the air and catching her, and he broke every bone in her body. But, and the only thing that was holding her together was the bodysuit, the wetsuit that she was wearing.
Yeah.
And so finally, when another trainer arrived and got the whale in play mode, and now he was opening his mouth to let her out, I allowed my 2 firemen and a SeaWorld employee to go up on the gantry with that monster to catch her body as she was slipping out of his mouth onto a backboard.
Yeah.
And I did that because they were freelancing, because I was in shock. I could not believe I was in shock. And so they caught her body, and he snipped her arm off, and the guy reaches in his mouth, gets her arm, and they get off the gantry and get her to the ground. So a while after reliving that, I started having this dream that when the guys went up there, Tillicum throws the trainer out of his mouth, and he just rips my people apart along with the other employee. And as I thought more and more about it, it was because I was beating myself because I had failed to be the incident commander. I had failed to be in control of that incident as far as safety was concerned. I allowed 2 of my firefighters and a civilian to be in harm's way. And fortunately, nothing happened, but that's why it was occurring. And once I came to grips with that, once I realized that's what it was, I stopped having the dreams. I stopped reliving the Tillicum call, and I stopped having the dreams.
I didn't know you were the IC on that call.
Oh, yeah, bro. Well,
oh, my God.
I've had some doozies, brother. I'm here to tell you.
You did. You've been through a lot. Like,
yes, sir.
I didn't imagine that was you, the IC, because that call, when I was going through Orange County training, people talk about that call and how it changed the company.
Right.
So much that now SeaWorld is all about roller coasters. The animal interaction is kind of like limited now, and they change everything on that theme park because of that call. Because Telecom went too crazy.
Yeah, and they lied and blamed the trainer, and the general manager called up the next shift and wanted me and the crew to come over and be part of the show with Tillicum, and wanted us to be on the stage with him while they let a little boy go up and pat him on the tongue. Man, I cuffed that guy so bad. I didn't mean to, but I could not believe the nerve and the gall that you would ask me to come back there after watching this whale just rip this woman apart, break every bone in her body, you know, and he didn't do it out of malice.
It's just keep going with the show.
Well, he grabbed her and took her under, not thinking how long she could hold her breath.
Yeah.
So she drowned, and then he wanted her to perform all of the tricks. Well,
she performed.
And, yeah, but she was dead. So anyway, I mean, it was just one of those things where, you know, I was so angry, but I realized I was more angry at myself because for a moment I had stopped being the IC, and that didn't settle well with me. You know, I've been on some bad calls. You know, two tanker overturned with fire. You know, person trapped in. I mean, I've had some doozies, man, but that was such an unbelievable sight. You know, nobody can train for that.
No,
watching a human being just being plastered by a whale the size of a Suburban.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I remember when I just started at the creek, and my first time by myself as a medic with no problem, because I came from the county, the same protocol. So basically, and I'm going to a safari in Animal Kingdom, and there's a guy having a symptomatic I never forget symptomatic bradycardia in the middle of safari, one of the workers, and I go to the scene, a pickup truck, and I see elephants and giraffe surround me and walking around me, and a rhino. And I'm like, I've never been like, this is not normal. I work at 53 OBT. I see weird stuff in that place, but I never have to deal with a rhino and an elephant. Yeah. And I realize I'm in a special place. I am not in OBT or Pine Hills at all.
Yeah, you were used to the two-legged wildlife.
Yeah. And the fighting and the homeless person and the cops trying to get the heroin addict.
Exactly.
No rhino trying to stamp on me just because I'm in his habitat.
You're right. Yeah. So like I said, it's that's the thing that I learned was that we can cause our own PTSD by going on a call and making a personal attachment to that incident. We have to go there, do the job, and remember, it's not our family, it's not us. We're there to take care of the job. Now, on the other hand, we also have to take care of everybody in the household, not just the patient. Yeah. We have to, see our way forward and all, but we cannot make these personal attachments to say, I've got to be the one, or I will do it, or whatever, or beat ourselves relentlessly because we weren't able to execute that rescue.
Yeah. And in your position as incident commander, I am not a lieutenant or any position of that, but it's hard for you guys, the red helmets and the white helmets, to make those decisions, especially when you know that potentially to kill one of us or something, one of us get hurt, is there. Because we can deal with fire, but with freaking whale attacking a human being or
well, you don't know. But I mean, and 8 of those 11 calls was while I was a firefighter.
Because we head on.
Head on. But also my crew, Squad 1 was there. And I mean, when I arrived on the scene, my lieutenant, engineer, my 2 firefighters, they were standing in a row, just looking into the pool. And I walked up, and there, this woman's body spinning in the air, and Tillicum comes out the water and grabs her in his mouth, slams her, and I'm screaming, what the, So, so, then like you said, you got to take care of your crew. And fortunately, the county had a CISM team, and they came out to the station, and it helped, but unfortunately, it's not enough. We just can't. We have to go beyond just the one visit to the station to say, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? And all of this. We have to do follow-up. And then those of us in the station have to keep our eyes open to our co-workers and to our, and say, hey, man, you okay? And not be afraid to make a phone call to say, I think he needs some help, because if we don't, bruh, we're going to lose more to suicide.
Yeah.
We're going to lose more to suicide.
Yeah, and that's what happened at the beginning of this year in 2023 in Marion County and Orange County. I mean, we lost a couple of brothers and sisters just in suicide.
Yes.
And it affected me because I knew one of the guys that did it. Personal, but I knew him. I interacted with him in the past. And it hit me, to be honest. And that's why I opened the podcast. Like, hey, let's talk about it. I mean, won't hurt.
So I got on the peer support team with Orange County.
Yeah.
I'm the only retiree that's on the team. And due to that, we have helped a number of people, on duty folks, a few dispatchers, and some retirees, and I'm happy to say that, we were able to turn situations around for at least 6 people that I know that they were suicidal.
Yeah, and I'm glad and thank you for that job, because it's not easy.
Thank you.
It's not easy to break that, because you're trying to approach one of the guys on the station. They're thinking the badass, I can do what I want, especially squad people. I know, because I'm in squad too. Yeah, we like, I can do ropes and confined space and trench. I don't care. And how do you approach that person who is the top dog, alpha guy, to say, hey bro, are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody? How do you do that, Chief?
Well, what I found is that you can't put it in a question. You have to come up and let people know what you are seeing in them.
Okay.
And what I do is I tell them, hey, you know what? I'm seeing this. And then I have the experiences that I can relate to them and say, if it happened to me,
it happened to you.
It can happen to you,
Yeah.
Because I mean, brother, I've been in command, and I've lost 6 personnel to cancer over out of 53's first due, the call on Rocket Boulevard, the chemical spill.
They're famous. Yeah. I know, because all those guys who've been in that call, they're all dead or they are in that way too. Yeah, everyone that was in that call.
Right.
I know.
And then I was there. I was there at the front on the A side when we finally got the roll-up door up and watched that stuff come out of that building, man, and change colors from the smooth concrete floor to the concrete driveway to the asphalt to the dirt. And in each places that it touched, it changed color, and then it started smoking. And then we realized we were in the hot zone, and we got out of there. I made everybody take off their gear, but at that time, they left the boots on, and I had 2 rookies. They both only had 3 months on, and they're standing out there in rehab, and rehab calls me, and I walk over there, and the kids are out of their boots, and their boots are standing there on the asphalt, melting into the asphalt in rehab.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. Man, that was the worst call, But
yes.
Lieutenant Ganley and Engineer Stevenson, Engineer Van Ravensway, Lieutenant Sienna,
yeah.
Firefighter Perez, and then the supply chief Avanta, all dead.
Yeah.
From that call.
All cancer.
And
you can trade that to cancer.
All but one. Perez came the next day to give a sample, to get samples. And he's standing in that little funny, them little blue suits, right? And and he throws the swab out there to land in the product to see what color's going to change, and it started changing colors what was in the air. And he realized, so he looks down at the booklet of them, and all of them were changing in his hand. And he realized he was stepping in, he was in the hot zone. You know, that's how, man, that was some bad stuff, brother.
I can't even, for what from the story that I got from people who was in that time, for example, Harvey, all those guys during the squad one, they said that was bad. Like they never see it was really bad. Like and you can trace everybody's death to that specific call.
Right.
Those who die from cancer on the long term after like what 10, 15 years of that call. I don't remember exactly.
Well, you know, and here's the thing: it happened in 2007, and you know, I thought after we lost Perez, I thought we were all in the clear. You know, I've got chemical burns on the back of my legs from that call, and then Sienna goes down.
Yeah.
You know, wow. You know, and so one of the guys that was there, and I'm not going to call his name, but he's sitting around feeling guilty that he's not gone, and I'll be honest with you, I think sometimes I'm going along and I'm looking over my shoulder, you know, waiting for it to come up and get me, you know. So the service, I mean, we give up a lot, brother. A lot.
Yeah, we do.
A lot.
We do.
There have been times that there's a new shirt I saw the other day, and it's this firefighter, and he's sort of just leaning over. He's in full gear, and the caption says, "When I look back on my life as a firefighter, I'm amazed I'm still alive."
Yeah.
And I mean, if that doesn't hit it right on the head, because I can't tell you how many times I've sat on the edge of the bed and thought that and said, look what I did to myself. Look what I allowed them to do to me, you know. But you know, Armando, the truth is, if they called me today, brother, I'd be in uniform tomorrow.
I know you will.
You know,
it's a love and hate.
It is.
It is. It's like
I love the job. It's
like the abusing husband hitting the wife. We're the wife. We getting beat up, but you know what? I think I got a chance. I still love you, buddy. That's what it is.
Yeah, you know, because honestly, if I got the call today, I would be in uniform tomorrow. I would be right back out there tomorrow. The other night, I'm sitting there and I'm watching this series of copulations of units responding, right? And they're all aerial trucks, right? You know, and I'm just watching, and I mean, I'm just like, oh man, how much I miss it.
Yeah. But it's true though. This job, it's not a job. I think it's a lifestyle. Because once you get in,
it is a lifestyle.
It's not a job. In regardless where you work and where you are, it's a lifestyle. I have a chance to travel to Poland and around the world basically. And you know, every time I think it's the only career that you can go anywhere in the world and go to a fire station saying I'm a firefighter, and they'll receive you open arms.
Yeah.
You know, that with accounting or mechanics or you know, even doctors, nurses, they don't care. But firefighter, no matter where you go, and everybody say the same thing. Like it is rough. It is not a career for everyone. Not everyone can last. And I personally, people who change careers to something else, I don't blame them, because hey, it's your choice. And I understand. I really understand that with no problem. Hey, bro, I'm good for them. They left the abusive husband. They found the light.
It's funny that you say that, because you're right. I've I've watched some really good people that I knew would be great at this job who said, it's not for me, you know.
Yeah, I'm done.
And you can't be upset with them because
No.
not if this job was, easy, everybody could do it.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody will last 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. Everybody.
The only crazy people I know that don't do this job but would love to do it are cops. You know,
true that. It was the guy who failed academy. He couldn't pass the state test.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I shoot them out and cuss them out, pulling their cruisers in front of a structure fire, and
God.
standing up there looking in the window, and I pull up. Get your heads down. I said, I'm going to put each one of you in bunker gear. And they come down and said, really, Chief, you going to put us in gear? No. Get your cars out the way.
I was the first one trying to break a window. So what are you doing, buddy? Just relax. Yeah, it is true. And I give it to the cops, though. Their work is amazing. I cannot do that.
I would not do their job.
No, they're a walking target. Because I remember many times working in Orange County and some parts where I work now, it's a domestic violence. There's something going on in the house, and it's the cops and I next to each other. And the person said, "I want you inside. I want the cop out." And you see guns on the table behind them. Like, okay, I guess. Sorry, buddy.
No, and you're right, because 53, you talking sector 4, buddy.
Yeah.
No, there's no worse area than sector 4,
Yes.
And I used to run with them, and
the
honestly,
50s.
I had incidents, especially down there in 50s area where, you getting somebody getting to a machete fight and hack somebody up and all, and nobody would talk to the cops. But the hookers would come up and they called me Chief Fubu, and hi Chief, and I say, baby, what happened here? And they tell me everything.
Yeah. With no problem. And I don't want the cop next to me.
Yeah.
And start cursing the cop out. And then they're actually, the hookers are actually nice persons. I'm not, because I give a lot of Narcan over there. I just like candy. Everyone has Narcan. And the McDonald's by the station, the Dunkin' Donuts, Florida Mall, Best Buy.
Right.
I was giving Narcan to everybody, and everybody was nice to me after a while. After they start puking and cursing me out, they realized, oh, okay, this guy actually saved me. And the nursing home, you remember nursing home by 53? The tower? Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I know. I've been there a gazillion times, I know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember times Galina's just sitting on the engine side. Okay, whatever. You go. I'll catch you later.
Yeah, Galina was one of my boys,
Really?
Yeah, he was trained by me. He sure was.
Wow. That's another legend right there. That guy works a lot. He's a workaholic.
That's my guy. It's my guy, man.
It was my LT for a while.
So many of them, just about everybody on that call at everybody that I lost at Rocket Boulevard, except for Stevenson and Lieutenant Gambley. I trained all of them,
Wow.
Just,
so I'm saying, Chief, you're a legend on the Central Florida. You are, man.
I had a firefighter in 71, and she started that legend thing. and I fought it forever, but for my daughter helping, she said, Daddy, just accept it, because they're not letting it. They're not going to let you be anything else.
No.
So I do.
You have to embrace it. Just make a T-shirt, something. just to say the phrase. You just start teaching. That's it. Just keep it like that, Chief. I appreciate it that you form and kind of build the generations of chiefs that are right now running Orange County, and maybe some of the guys that are outside the county that was trained by you and now in different places. I mean,
true.
And and hopefully the people who see this, and you travel around the world, whatever, they call you the legend. I hope so, because that would be awesome if that happened. I got a question, Chief, and yeah, it freezes sometimes, but how's now? Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's technologies could be amazing and could be horrible. It all depends how you look at it.
All
It's
at the
all
same time, right?
Yep, it's all the same time. By the time this podcast will be live, I'm in the peer support team because I put my application for the really quick peer support team. So hopefully I get it. Hopefully, we'll see. What do you?
I think it'd be good.
Yeah, and what do you recommend for those who are new in the peer support team to do? What will be the how you, to me, for example, how do you tell me or how do you guide me to approach somebody who's in difficult problems and maybe they don't, because not everybody like each other, or you know how it is. It's hard when it's something personal. What will be the best approach to somebody who's going?
What I've been finding is I look at myself. When Lieutenant Parsons found me, you would have thought that I was in such bad shape that I would have responded that day. But it took three more nights of me being up and tormented by the reliving of those dreams and incident. So what I would say to you and anybody who is in peer support is that don't expect that you're going to get the turnaround just because you're there for that moment. And it takes diligence, meaning that you're going to have to come back and see them again and again and again. Instead of asking, are you okay? Just tell them what you're seeing in them.
Okay.
Talk about what could be and all of the rest. That's the best advice I can give you.
Okay. And that sounds, pretty smart. Because some people will say, you okay? So I'm fine. It's fine.
Yeah. And most of us, we're, it comes with the territory. I mean, we're that atypical type persons, and we're used to being the ones solving the problem. So accepting that we have a problem is very difficult.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true, Chief. I agree with that.
I mean, I put my poor doc through it. I mean, the first 3 sessions, he was, I mean, I was almost at the point just calling him names. That's how angry I was that, I called the man a goober, bro. Just like, because,
wow.
And he had to explain to me that he was a Army sniper and that he got PTSD because he kept remembering everybody that he shot. And he would remember them through the crosshairs on watching their heads explode. And so that's why he got into it. And I had to give him respect on that. And, and then after three sessions, then I started getting help.
Wow.
So it's not going to be easy, and you can't give up. You can't give up. You just got to keep coming back and not being turned off by the fact that, well, I reached out to this guy and he didn't respond, or I reached out to her and she blew me off. You just come back. You come back, because if you don't, I've lost one retiree, and it took a while to get him to start going to UCF Restores. Unfortunately, it was
too late.
Too little, too late. He had just started, and within a week of starting, he took his life.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was a hard pill to take, bro.
Oh yeah,
it was a hard pill to take.
I can't even imagine.
But then one of my old lieutenants was losing it bad, had a gun, barricaded, and I went to his house, and the cops tried to stop me from going in. I went in and saw about him, and he came out, and and he's alive to this day, and we have lunch together and all this. He's made a better connection with his family. So we just have to be diligent with it, and that's the only way. That's the only way we're going to save each other.
Yeah,
because I find that we are more inclined to listen to each other than we are somebody on the outside of what we do.
Yes, that's true, because at least we can relate to each other. Maybe not the same experience, because everybody have different experience in the fire service. It's all positions and ranks and all that, but at least it can relate that we all went through basic training. We all went through basic stuff, right. So we can relate to that. We can relate to calls. We all had a nursing home, the homeless, all that we can all relate. Yeah, exactly. It's tough. It's tough to deal with mental health because it's not something you can fix right away. Like you said in the beginning, it took you 5 years to finally be yourself in that aspect and release all that luggage that you had in your mind. And some people, maybe the whole life to even get better, or so it all depends, right? It all depends on what's going on and how, because it's so personal.
And it took two different courses with UCF Restores, and then I ended up in the Warrior Path program, and that was very intensive, probably the best, because it was every day for 8 days, and you stayed there all 8 days.
Oh wow!
And that was the absolute best. When I left there, I was sleeping, and even though I still may have a dream or two, it doesn't wake me up. It doesn't disturb me. It's just a dream.
Yeah.
And I did so well there that they asked me to come back. So I spent 3 months up there as a counselor.
Wow, that's awesome, Chief. That's great. That is amazing. And now you can share the knowledge.
Not.
You turn counselor. There you go. So I might see you if I go there when I take my classes, because I want to take my classes over there. That would be great.
So like I said, we have to be diligent. I don't want anybody, you or anybody, to go through what I went through. And if informing you that not to make those personal connections, it will save you from the plight, the course I went, then it'll be more than worth it. No connection. You're there to do a job. You take care of everybody in the house. When I teach customer service, I teach that we don't just treat the patient, because that's all we're trained to do, but we have to treat the onlookers in the household, the husband, the wife, the kids. We have to go to them. We have to make sure that they're okay. How they're going to get to the hospital, to somebody we can call. We cannot leave anybody standing on the end of the driveway, not knowing what to do as we pull off with their loved ones.
Yeah, true.
So that part I need you all to do, but making it's all about me. I got to be the one to save them. I'm going in. I'm going to make this rescue. That part you cannot do.
That's true. Hey, we always looking for Chief.
Get your job.
Hey, Chief, if you wanna come back to service, you're more than welcome. at the Mickey Mouse side of the world, hey, we'll take you 100%.
Let me tell you, Manda, if I come down there, they're gonna fire me in a day, because all of this kinder, gentler stuff that they're doing, and of course it starts with the creek, with all that kind stuff. Man, I was Battalion 4, brother.
I know.
And like I said,
it's rough.
Like I was
Team
Boo. I was Team Boo. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It took me a year to adjust to the customer service that we provide at the creek, because I came from Battalion 4, running the OBT all day long, and then I working in a theme park kind of environment with international people and all this, and I got managers and security going to a scene that before I didn't care, and I got the families doesn't speak the language sometimes or different cultures, and yeah, that's another one too. That's a fun one. And I have to use Google Translate for Japanese. So I'm like, it took me a year to get used to that. Just to notch a little bit down. Just don't be so rough. You can be rough, but not too much.
Right. I mean, my last 2 years, I got transferred. Thanks to Chief Walker, I got transferred to A Shift, Battalion 3.
Oh, that's not too bad.
I don't know. I don't know what they call it now, but we used to call it La La Land because all the attractions were there, all the hotels, and all of this. And so we get this fire on the 4th floor at the Hilton Garden Inn, right? And I pull up, and what made me think about it, you talk about the Japanese. So these 2 Japanese guys come out, and one of them goes to the front of my truck. I'm pulling out my tray, I'm putting my vest on, I'm getting my helmet, and all of this, and I'm listening, and I got a confirmed fire on the 4th floor, laundry room, right? And so this other Japanese guy comes up, puts his arm around me, and he looks at his buddy. His buddy's got a camera, and he's going, I
took a picture. God.
And I said, get off of me, And so then they go to the front of the battalion vehicle, and he leaves on the battalion vehicle, and they're taking pictures, right? And I go into the hotel. The alarm has been silenced, and people are sitting in the lobby, and they're bringing them coffee and cake, and they're sitting in the lobby, and I just lost it. And so Lieutenant Perino's like, Chief, he's trying to get me to understand this is the 3rd Battalion, and so I fussed at the manager for silencing the alarm. Oh man! And so Chief Walker had to come over, and he said, Greg, he says, listen, things are different here in the 3rd Battalion. He had to explain it to me, bro, because I was used to the 4th Battalion, rock 'em and sock 'em.
Yeah. So you go in and go out. Yeah, I know. When I used to float to Battalion 3 to the east side of the county, no polo shirt coming from the Battalion 4, different attitude. They just tell me right away as soon as I say, hey, you Battalion 4, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to calm down, relax, just chill. This is more chill. Just relax. You can watch TV, lay down on the blue chair. Just calm down, buddy. You got time. And yeah, I know.
So you can imagine me at the creek. You can imagine me at the creek. I mean, I'm a lot better than I used to be, but that just no nonsense. And I chewed some kid out the other day because he out here with a bun in his hair, and he had cornrows. And I tapped him on the shoulder. I said,
my God.
Are you on the job? And he said, yes, sir. And I said, what is wrong with your head, son? Hindsight, bro. Hindsight.
I know.
Sorry.
I know. No, but
I don't know any other way.
Sometimes you need that I call it direct order, to put it a nice way, just to realize, hey, buddy, I get it, but you doing the job, you representing something. It's more than yourself.
Yeah, well, let me show you something.
Yeah.
Here. You see my hat?
Yeah.
That's my DI hat that I wore in training when I was training recruits. Okay. It's a paramilitary organization.
Yeah.
And I brought the military to it. I brought the Marine Corps to it. And anybody will tell you that trained under me, we had the best training. But nowadays it's be kind and everybody gets a lollipop and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's what's a big change?
Let me stop.
Hey, some people like that old fashioned culture. Some people like, different culture. It's just, I guess, adapting to the times. I'm more old school because I grew up in South America, in a third world country. So I'm used to being more tough love, put it that way. So to me, when I went to the county, do orientation, it wasn't a big deal because I'm used to that. It's just I get the language was a big deal, but other than that, it's fine. I speak 3 languages, so hey, pick one, buddy.
Yeah.
But other than that, it wasn't a big deal. But I saw some of the guys getting, this is too like, bro, you have no idea. This could be way worse. just relax, Chief. We almost an hour. This is awesome. What do you recommend to a brand new lieutenant or brand new chief to take care of these people, this station and this battalion? What do you recommend, since you're the legend IC agent, man?
I'll tell you what I tell everybody who's newly promoted. Not to forget where they come from, and I know that's easily said, but the bottom line is this: the station, the battalion, the department was running and functioning before you got promoted. So the worst thing you can do is to walk into a station, if you're a lieutenant, and cross your legs and tell them, this is what I expect out of you and all of this. You have to you're coming into their house, and you have to become a part of them. So you go in as a new officer and you listen. You listen, you watch your crew, you read your personnel file so that you can understand who you got working for you, and the things that you absolutely cannot tolerate are the only things that you change. But you adapt to your crew. The biggest fallacy or mistake that chiefs and lieutenants, captains make is thinking that since I'm the one in charge, everybody has to do it my way. And that's the biggest mistake that you can make. If you want a functioning station and a devoted crew, you adapt to the crew because you're the new guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the rookie.
It's true. You're thinking about it. Rookie. Yeah.
And here you're a lieutenant, you step into a station and you've got a 10-year engineer veteran, okay? And you've got veteran firefighters. And here you walk in as a brand new lieutenant, rookie, and how dare you walk in their house and say, well, this is what I'm going, this is what I expect out of you. No, you go in, you watch, and you observe. When I came out of training, they put me in Battalion 4.
I know. We're rough.
So the lieutenants and all the stations were anticipating for me to come around. You know what I did? My first 30 days, I stayed in my office. I read personnel files. I read on each one of my personnel, 46 of them, as a matter of fact, 46 personnel. Mm-hmm. I read up on my personnel. I made sure I knew who I was dealing with. And when I went to do my rounds, I went to one station and I stayed there for hours and I learned them before I said anything. And then I had a meeting with all my lieutenants and the things that I absolutely could not change. And normally they were grooming standard issues, like the guys not lacing up their shoes and things like that, but those things had to change, but everything else. And so we functioned well as a battalion because I didn't go in with the I'm the boss attitude. So my best advice to you, when you get promoted, learn your crew. Remember that station was functioning before you got there, and allow them to show you who they are before you start making changes. Only make the changes that are absolutely necessary or something that just goes against the grain. Grooming goes against my grain. Okay. You have to be, I want you to look professional. Yeah. So those things, I had to make sure are fixed. But other than that, you allow the crew to function and you become part of them instead of forcing them to be you.
Yeah. And
That's my
that's a
best
great
advice
advice.
to you.
That's a great advice. Hopefully, people can hear you. Not just like the creeks, just everywhere. Because that's a great advice. Yeah, become part of the creek. It's true. I didn't notice that you are a rookie when you are promoted. You're the new guy. That's 100% true.
Right.
I didn't thought about it. Yeah, that's a good advice.
I've gone to some of the stations and had to chew up a new lieutenant, who just goes in and makes a shambles of the station because trying to force the guy, and all he did was cause dissension in a fight. So
yeah, it's true, and we are all type A, so especially by time 4. God, you went to 50, 51, 53, 72.
Yeah.
Well, 72 is a nice one. Out of battalion 4, I would say 72 is a nice one. All the 50s is a rough path.
Yeah,
we're fun.
Well,
but rough.
when I was there, it was all the 50s, including 55 and 73. Those are my stations.
55 was battalion 4 too.
51.
Oh, God.
Originally, when it first opened, it was part of battalion 4.
Yeah. The Hunters Creek area is rough. Well, 58, you never sleep. I know. I spent my first 6 months at 58 with, you remember Shuto? The driver Shuto, and now, the Italian.
I trained Shuto.
You trained Shuto?
Yeah, I sure did.
He's about to retire, I think so.
He just did retire, and he went to Italy for about 3 months. I talk to him every now. I just talked to him last week.
Nice.
But he came in with the Shuto knot. I was teaching them the bowling, and Shuto came up with his own kind of knot, and it functioned. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but it wasn't going to pass. But it wasn't going to pass the academy. It wasn't going to pass this minimal standards class. And next thing I know, he had my whole class doing the Shuto knot. Oh man, yeah. When you see him, ask him about it.
I will, because that Shuto is he's a character. He's a character. I call him the retired Mario Bros. Just because.
I love him dearly. No, that was my guy. Yeah. Because he'd do anything for you. You know.
Great heart, but it's Shuto. Yeah. Shuto. Chief. Yes. Oh my God, that was fighting between people on scene because they call him names and like Shuto. Please, just go back to the engine. I stay outside with the patient. Yeah, I was his rookie for a while, so. Oh man, Shuto was funny. Chief, advice for the people who are about to retire or are just retired.
Yes.
What do you recommend to those firemen or police or first responders?
I recommend that you have everything in order in your 19th year. You got 19 years on. You need to start with a financial planner and get the most out of your retirement that you can possibly get, because no matter how much money you are able to get, it's never enough, because everything gets more expensive and more expensive. And the biggest mistake that I find people make is they wait until they're 1 or 2 years away from retirement, and then they start doing retirement planning. So I will say this to you and anybody in the service that's listening. You go to work to retire. And that has to be your mindset. You go to work to retire. I've been retired 13 years. 13 years.
Yeah.
And my 13 years of retirement was based on the 26 years that I put in with Orange County. Okay? So you got to deal with medical issues. Man, when I turned 60, homeboy, it's like somebody had flipped a switch on me. All of a sudden, bam, I got high blood pressure. And what do you mean I got to take diabetes medicine? And, my eyes started getting crazy. My knees went out. had to get them both my knees replaced. I
Wow.
mean, it was like I was Cinderella and the clock struck 12.
Wow.
And so you have to have yourself ready to deal with something that we're not used to having to deal with, and that is keeping ourselves very healthy. As a firefighter, as lieutenant engineers, even chief officers, you're working out and you're staying in shape. But when you get retired, you're going to want to travel, you're going to do a lot of things, and you need to be able to make sure that you are financially stable. You young man are working right now to retire.
Yeah.
And I want you to think along that lines. So it's never too early to start your planning. And whatever you do, go to a financial planner. I went to my financial planner in my 19th year because Battalion Chief Huck Wheatgraff, he was one of my many mentors.
Wheatgraff?
And yes, Huck Wheatgraff.
Well,
and you may know his son. You may know
I work with his son. We work in the same station, same truck. Oh yeah, I know Wheatgraff.
Okay. Well, his dad was he was one of my mentors, and he prepared me for becoming a battalion chief in Battalion 4. And so what he told me what I just said to you. He said, you are working to retire. And so I went to a financial planner and I was fighting her and the things that she was saying. And she put it to me this way. She says, if my house catches fire, if I have a heart attack, if I get in a car accident, I will call on you. But I do money. Money is what I do. You save lives and property, and I will work your retirement. And I let her do that. And she took care of me. She, because I took the investment plan, she was investing my money while I was still working. The same thing with my deferred comp and all of the rest. And she also cleared up this crazy belief that you're benefiting by burning up your sick time. No. At that time, I don't know how it is now, but at that time, Orange County was paying 25 cents on the dollar when it came to your sick time, right? And so people would take a whole year off or whatever the case. But she showed me, because she was scratching her head. She didn't understand. And she said, well, you're not getting FSLA while you're sick.
Yeah.
You're not accruing vacation time
while
you're out sick. And you're not accruing sick time while you're out sick.
Yeah.
She says, so how is it that people say they're getting paid? And I had to look at that. So I did the numbers and she was right. So I worked up until 1900 on August 30th was my last shift. And I retired that evening. And when I turned in my sick time and vacation time and all of that, my final check was $28,000 and I paid my Tahoe off.
Oh,
right.
That's actually good advice. Right. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So, just think about that. I mean, here's the thing, and this is how she put it. She said, you're going to take off an entire year burning sick time so that you can leave for the rest of your life. Now think about that.
That's true.
Why would you take off now when you're leaving for the rest of your life? Stay on the job, build your sick time up, turn it in at 25 cents on the dollar. Turn in your full vacation, every dime that you can get out of the department that they are entitled to give it to you, get it. Don't give nothing back, because once you walk out the door, you're gone for good.
That's it.
So put as much in your pocket as you can, because the bottom line is you're working to retire.
That's true.
Your whole goal is to retire.
Yeah. Yeah, to last 25, 30 years in the job and hopefully retire, a peaceful retirement. That's true, Chief. That's great advice. Two more questions before we go. One, sure. If somebody's in that mental state, which number can they call, or who they, or do you know places they can go, at least in Central Florida? And I'll put in the prescription, but I want you to say it, so sometimes people just don't like to read, so they have to listen.
Okay. Well, you can always call the peer support group, and Orange County had done, and I'm looking it up now, buddy. Where is it? And Orange County had a long-term standing where we were looking at teaching and training all of the crews. Oh, goodness, where is it? Man.
You need your glasses.
No, I just can't remember where it is. This is working in public schools, UCF. I need to talk to Claudia. Man, I'm sorry, but
you're fine.
Get this.
Hey, this is not live.
No, okay. 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 So you can edit this, right? You can edit the long parts out. Let me see.
But I'm glad I talked to you. I'm really happy I talked to you, and hopefully we can do another episode. This has been great. This is refreshing to hear that, Chief. I appreciate it. Your knowledge is shared with us. They're listening. Actually, we are listening all United States, kind of Europe, Spain, Portugal. I got people in Denmark, and I got people in the Philippines.
Really?
I don't know how in Spotify. Wow. I got a bunch of people from Poland because now the podcast is kind of famous in Poland because I interviewed 3 Polish people. One is a leading guy. He's a chief in Poland because over there in Poland it's one fire chief for the whole country because it's a military.
Wow.
Oh, I know, yeah. So one guy that I interview, he's a battalion chief on section of the country, some part, and he's the leading guy about cancer prevention. His name is Simon. He's a great guy, yeah. And I interview a linguistic therapist. I interview actually a captain on one of the fire stations in Gasnik, around that area. And he said that they're really good on cancer prevention, but mental health support is limited in Poland. And
well, and I'm not surprised at that because mental health is a very tough, touchy subject, especially when you got the professionals who go to school for it.
Yeah.
And they don't want us dabbling in their profession and don't have the respect that we have the ability to know what we're doing. And that's a line that we have to make sure we don't cross. And that is to make sure that whatever we're doing with our people, we're just supporting them and helping them, guiding them to the professionals. That's the whole key. Yeah. But the key is, just like Lieutenant Parsons did with me, he didn't try to convince me of anything other than the fact that I needed to get help.
Just aim to the right spot. Shout out to Miss Kate. She's a mental health coach, but specialized in firefighters. She works in the panhandles. And we have a great conversation, and I need to bring it back to the podcast. But yeah, she told me that our job as a peer support team is just to guide them to the right person, because we are not an expert, but we aim the people to the right or shove into the right place, and then they will take care of that. And she took an extra class just to deal with police and firemen, because it's not the same as dealing with normal civilians. Because our sense of humor and everything that we deal with is completely different from a normal person, because we see things that nobody should seen it, or they shouldn't seen it, no, at that age or whatever. The new guys that we hire, an 18 years old new kid seeing a I don't know, car accident with fatalities that shouldn't be seen by an 18-year-old kid. They don't have to even handle, they don't know how to even cook or clean. But that's another one. Teach you how to clean, how to do coffee. Now you put on an extrication car with multiple fatalities.
And see, and the point that you're making, we have to make sure that our officers and our veterans understand. You got a probie in the house, they're not used to it, and so their first dead body is not like their first fire, where we go, and we rip the shirts and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a traumatic experience, because I'm going to tell you, it took me to tears. My first code, man, I never worked so hard in my life to save somebody. And I mean, I pumped this guy's chest from the house, rode the rail in the back of Rescue 40, all the way to Florida South. And then even when we got in the ER, I was still pumping that chest. And he didn't make it. Couldn't convert it.
Yeah.
And when we got back to the station, man, I was bummed out. I had never seen nothing like that in my life. Vomiting up the tube and all of that stuff that we take for granted. So we have to check on our probies, check on the probies all the time. And that, and I don't know about the creek, but Orange County is, and the city of Orlando are overrun with probies. They got so many new people. The department is almost brand new.
Yeah,
and
true.
If nobody's paying attention to them, these kids are they're gonna have some PTSD problems.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the creek, we hire people with experience, so they come with from 2 years and on, so it doesn't matter. But we're trying to hire with experience, just because the nature of the place that we work, you cannot be brand new dealing with the things that we deal with there. But we try to. But you know how it is. You know how politics are.
More than I do.
more than I do. Chief, don't worry about the information. I can put the number on the description with no problem. I can find the peer support team.
And I will get that for you.
Yeah, send me a text on my phone. And no problem. No, it's fine. And last question: who you recommend to come to the podcast and talk about mental health, or just talk about fire service? Who you recommend? Because I will find them. I will hunt down the same way I did to you.
Lieutenant Claudia Fernandez.
Lieutenant Claudia Fernandez. Which station or where she's at?
She's at headquarters now, and she is the leader of the peer support team.
Okay, perfect.
And she is phenomenal.
Okay.
She is and I'm not bragging, but I trained her.
And, see, you embracing the legend. You embracing that. Get your shirt, Chief Pine the legend. That's it. That's all you have to say. People understand.
But she was a line lieutenant, worked at 81, engineer, 81.
Oh my God, 81 sucks.
Right. Oh. Yes, sir. Rock and roll. She was at a rock and roll house. She got fires under her belt and all this. And then she ended up at a more quiet station. I think it was 85 or 86, the new ones.
Okay.
And she took an active interest in the creation of the peer support program. At that time, when she came on, we were the critical incident stress management.
Yeah.
And under her tutelage, it was changed to peer support. But she is the person that I would recommend because she can talk on all the subjects. She's a heck of a firefighter, great officer, field combat. She understands administration, but nobody is more powerful at this peer support, what we have to do to keep our people alive and keep them healthy mentally. Nobody will outdo her. Claudia Fernandez, Lieutenant.
I will look it up and hunt down that person because I done it. I did it with you, and I got a great interview. And hopefully we can repeat it again and again because it'll be great. And maybe you can do it in person next time. Can be in your office.
Yeah. That'll be fine.
I'm getting
good.
stuff.
I'm good with it either way.
Yeah, I'm getting stuff to go in person. I do have some stuff, but now I'm getting more fancy now. I'm getting like a light and a better camera and microphones. Getting there at some point. Well, thank you, Chief, for being here. Thank you so much for your knowledge and everything you share with us. I know it's a lot, but I really appreciate it a lot. Hopefully, people listen to us, at least take one thing out of the whole hour and 20 minutes, and just run with it. Like you said, just listen to people. That will be the best advice when you become a brand new officer. That I appreciate it, Chief. And
hey, I love what you're doing here, and I pray that you keep this up because what you're doing here is a valuable tool. This is new school for me. Podcast. I had to ask somebody what a podcast was, right? But for the generation of people now, when I told my grandkids, I said, "Hey, do y'all know what a podcast is?" And they were like, "Yeah, Papa, we know what one is." So for our newer firefighters, this generation, your generation, this is a perfect avenue because people will listen to this stuff.
Yeah, it is. And I got a lot of feedback. Yeah, thank you, Chief. No, thank you for being here. I'm just a vehicle. I'm just a vehicle bringing the information to people. That's all I am. I'm just a fireman.
You more than that, brother. You're more than that. You're a conductor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chief, for all this opportunity. And people who listen to us around the world, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Peace.